Has your planet been invaded by ultra-violent alien librarians who hunt you down for making a peep? Well, fear not, because their power is their weakness, and Feedback Unlimited has a wide array of noise-making devices ranging in size and scale from noisy cricket to Uncle Dave's Thanksgiving farts. Feedback Unlimited. Now you get to shush the librarians.
Hello and welcome to Horror Movie Talk.
An opinionated and accidentally funny horror movie review show. Go, 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 go.
Took a stroll through the scraggly woods. He had no face! Horror!
Sabrina, don't just stare at it, eat it.
New theatrical releases always get priority.
But we also review older horror movies, both good and horrible.
Wow, that didn't sound good.
Hello and welcome to Horror Movie Talk. I missed having sex with my wife to be here this early this morning.
You have sex in the morning?
It's the only time.
Wow.
Hello.
I guess that's not abnormal.
Your panel of expert hosts each week and this week are Dr. Bruce Henson, who holds a PhD in spookology.
Hi.
And me, Professor David Day, the foremost expert in scare no-nos. Listen, guys, we have quite a show for you today. We will be reviewing A Quiet Place Part 2. But first, let me tell you about...
Let's simulate the experience of watching A Quiet Place Part 2.
Oh, okay. Beautiful.
All right. Yeah.
Beautiful.
No, wait. Let's try again. I'll do it better.
Be cutting that out entirely. A cool thing you may not know about Horror Movie Talk is we have the very best community of any podcast you've ever listened to. And for proof, all you have to do is head on over to our Facebook group and find all the kind, cool people who are helpful and nice and will give you their opinion. And they won't berate you. And if they do, you can tattletale on them, and I'll make sure that they be nice. You can check us out at our website, horrormovietalk.com. From there, you can find links to all of our social media, including our Twitch channel, which is twitch.tv/horrormovietalk. Check us out on there if you want to talk to us while we play video games, yada yada. Yeah, and big news today. Oh man, so I'm going to be on Nightlight Horror Movie Club podcast sometime around next week, and I'm really excited because we're going to be reviewing It Follows, which is one of my favorites. And but
have you already recorded with them?
No, I'm going to be recording in a couple days here. But I mean, secretly, I've fallen in love with this podcast. It's wonderful, and I've listened to, I don't know, 20 or 30 episodes now. I've just been binging them, and I love it. It's two sisters, Kate and Emma, and they have great chemistry, and I love it. So I'm very excited to be going on their podcast. Very excited. We do post new episodes every single Wednesday, so make sure to subscribe to us, and please leave us a rating on Apple Podcast because it really helps us out a whole lot. If you'd like to leave us a message, there's a lot of fucking pussies out there that just want to just keyboard warrior and just talk shit about us on the reviews. And you know what? Did you get another one? You're a fucking pussy if you do that shit. You can call me up and talk to my goddamn face, little bitch.
Home here now.
You can do so. If I haven't made that really palatable to you by now, then I just don't know what to say. But you can give us a call at 682-253-4468. Man up and call the show if you got a problem with it. I want you to critically bash us on our own show. Anyway, if you'd like to get a hold of us and leave us a bodily fluid exchange, you can do so by calling the bodily fluid exchange at 252-228-4628. I do promise I'm going to deliver on that in a big, vile, disgusting, dumpy load of bodily fluids. Eventually. Who knows when?
So,
as I said, Quiet Place Part 2, we start out by giving a brief review on our score for the movie. We score 1 to 10. You know how that works. And after we score, we will get into spoilers, take a deeper dive into what we liked and hated about the film. Later in this episode, we will be doing perennial favorite and returning game
taglines.
Horror or porno?
Oh, it's been a while.
Very, very excited about that. We've been having a lot of people...
Can I see one today?
Oh, girl! Yeah, been having a lot of people asking, where's horror or porno? Why aren't you doing horror or porno now?
I'm very pleased that a couple people have said specifically that they love horror or porno, that they laughed out loud. Not many people have said that, like, to us directly. Mm-hmm. We just assume...
Yeah,
that it's great and it's the funniest thing we've ever done because we think it is.
Right.
So at least a few of you appreciate horror or porno.
Oh, for
the genius that it is.
They love it. I've been bothered several times. They must be in personal DMs because have you not been receiving these?
For some reason, people are curious about whether it's real or not, whether the clips we play are real.
Oh, they're real clips.
Yeah, they're like it's pretty obvious that. Well, I mean, it's not pretty obvious which one's which,
right.
But they are really taken straight from the source.
Right. So let's see here. Oh yeah. So and then also we will be doing some horror movie talk whores where we take your calls. So as I said, we went and saw A Quiet Place Part 2, and it was quiet, and then very loud, and then quiet again. Always loud after quiet. And we won't be playing the trailer for it, because it's literally what I just got done describing. It's just quiet, loud, quiet. But normally, this is where I would play the trailer. A Quiet Place Part 2 can be found in theaters right now, and if I'm to be honest, if you don't want the movie spoiled for you, run out and go see that movie right now. I recommend it. I would say this is a real safe bet to see in theaters. I would argue that you should see this movie in theaters. It's how this movie was meant to be seen because of the incredible dynamic range in audio.
Yeah, they delayed it for a year for a reason.
Right.
You know, it's not to be consumed in home lightly.
Right. And so go see it. And but here's the synopsis. A Quiet Place Part 2 picks up the story from exactly where we left off on A Quiet Place from 2018 and progresses the story of the Abbott family who have just lost their father. Big spoilers, Lee, played by John Krasinski. The surviving members of the Abbott...
Have we done A Quiet Place yet?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
Spoilers for people that only watch movies that we review.
Let's see here. How do I continue? The surviving members of the Abbott family. Hey, Abbott! Family consists of Mother Evelyn, played by Krasinski's wife, Emily Blunt, deaf daughter, brother Marcus, and their little baby. And they have to travel the landscape to find someplace safe to live because their homestead there has been ransacked by the librarians. What I'm deeming the librarians. They run around the planet and shush people. Mm-hmm. They hear everything and they're like, shh. They want the place quiet. Along the way, they meet their neighbor, Emmett, played by Cillian Murphy, who has recently lost his whole family to the hordes of angry alien librarians. As our ragtag band of plucky survivors make their way through the post-apocalyptic landscape, everyone gets more quiet places than they bargained for.
Stupid.
I like that you, so stupid. I like that you hate it. Bathe me in your hate. So my review for A Quiet Place Part 2 goes a little something like this. The first Quiet Place is a really hard act to follow. Let's just start by calling it as we see it. And that's just about any way you cut it. Director, writer, star, and Pam Pam enthusiast John Krasinski nailed it with the original movie in every way that counts. This second installment does an admirable job of trying to follow in the very quiet footsteps of the first, but like so many sophomore attempts, it doesn't really catch the same kind of magic that the first had. Magic or not, A Quiet Place Part 2 is a stellar monster movie thriller with a ton of action and a tight runtime of only 97 minutes. I was not bored during the movie, and it provided wonderful argument fodder for after the show. We had a pretty heated argument. I could feel tensions were high. I was like, damn, I can't believe I feel so strongly about this. But it's
calmer than you are.
Calmer than you are. But it's like zombie level arguments, you know. It's the kind of thing where everybody's
like
got an opinion.
Stupid horror movie arguments, which is the best kind of arguments.
It definitely has that in spades. I can honestly say that I will remember many of the incredibly loud and offensive jump scares until the day I die. They are imprinted heavily on my brain. This is really a movie to see in the grandiosity of a theater, not only for the dynamic range of the audio, but because hearing a totally silent theater with many viewers in it is something of a spectacle in and of itself. It's kind of a unique movie-going experience when there's a ton of people being deadly, deadly silent.
Where did we see this movie? We didn't mention that.
Yeah, we saw this in downtown Vancouver at the old theater, the Kiggins.
Mm-hmm. Vancouver, Washington.
Vancouver, Washington.
Not the good one.
No. Yeah, Vancouver, not British Columbia. Clark County, not Nevada, where what you call it? Las Vegas is, and Washington. No, not the capital, the state.
So yeah, we went and saw it at Kiggins Theater, and as you're moving back to the theaters, please go see your local independent theaters, because they are the ones most hurt by this pandemic. Like Regal and AMC, honestly, fuck them, they'll be fine, and if they're not, who the fuck cares? Yeah. But these local theaters that have character and love for cinema, they need your support. So go back. It was really weird. I mean, it's hard to say whether the capacity was actually lower than normal, because they limited capacity at Kiggins to where it felt like they're putting like 6 seats in between every 2 seats on when you went to reserve seats. But that's probably about par for the course for Kiggins.
Well, but I think there's a couple things going on there. So first of all, it was a Thursday night, which you pointed out.
Right.
So that's opening night, and then also, but more importantly, the Kiggins is a huge stadium with hundreds of seats. In terms, like if you're going to compare it to, your bigger theaters like AMC or Regal, they'll have their little side theaters that have maybe 100 seats. This has a good 400 seats in it. And so that makes it feel a little bit more empty when you're in these like Thursday night crowds.
I was glad to see a lot of people there, though. Yeah,
me too. It gives me hope for the post-pandemic sort of landscape, much like a Quiet Place Part 2. A Quiet Place Part 2 gave me my money's worth and then some, and left me wondering how many installments they'll be able to squeeze out of this audio-based entertainment. I score this 7 out of 10. I had a pretty good time, but that first one is really magical, and it kind of underlines how this one isn't. Kind of.
Yeah, I mean it's off, but not far off from the original. I'd agree with your score. I'd give it a 7 out of 10. It's worth seeing. Yeah. You should definitely go see it, but don't expect it to top the original. And really,
how could it?
Jesus. Really, the only thing that it doesn't top is one scene that basically defines the first movie, which is the childbirth scene. Like, I'd be hard-pressed to find any movie that matches the suspense in that scene alone.
Yeah.
So there's no, like I said on our quick takes review, like, nothing rises to that level in this movie. But in terms of, like, utilizing the same premise and exploring the world a little more and giving you more closure, I guess, around the story, this does it well. It's in that way, it's a good sequel.
Oops, sorry, whoops, oops. So 7 out of 10 from, and just out of curiosity, we're not going to hold you to this here, Bryce, but I'm curious to know what, just out of recollection, from the time you had watching the first one, I think you and I went to go see that together. We went to go see that before we had started the podcast.
Yep.
You and me and Erin, your wife. And I had
Did we see that before the podcast?
Yeah. Yeah. Because it was released in 2018, and that's when we started the podcast. So we saw it like a couple months before we had started the podcast. And I had that stands out as the best time I've ever had in a theater. Ever.
Well, it was such a unique experience because you've never been in a theater that quiet. Mm-hmm. Ever.
If we had the podcast at that point, this would have been such a strong 10 out of 10 from me. Mm-hmm. What about you? The first one is what we're talking about.
Yeah, at the time, I'd probably give it a 10 out of 10. I'd probably move it down to like 9. A 9 or an 8 by now.
Wow.
Just because it doesn't... I don't think about it as much as some of the other, like, knock it out of the park 10 out of 10s that we've seen. Like, I think about Hereditary all the time. And, like, Ready or Not all the time.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't think about A Quiet Place. Like, yeah, that's so amazing.
I do. I think about... And specifically, it was because of the experience of the theater.
Well, yeah, it's super impressive.
Yeah.
And it was quite an experience. I guess it's the same way where, like, I don't know. I give a lot of leeway to, like, the Blair Witch Project. That's still 10 out of 10 for me, and that's mostly because of the theater experience.
Right.
And, like, the experience of originally seeing it.
Yeah,
I still think it holds up pretty well, but
it's the hype train that they built around it and that's part of it.
Yeah.
That's still part of the entertainment for sure. Okay, cool. Well, so we agree. 2 7s out of 10. Hey guys, if you would like to support the show, you can do so and get access to a shitload of streaming horror over at shudder.com. That's SHUDDER.com. If you enter HMT at checkout, that gets you a 30-day free trial to this horror streaming service. They're the Netflix of horror, and you can get access to a ton of horror. And that scared the bejesus out of me. I leapt out of my seat, much like you will do if you subscribe to Shudder. They got Halloween. I think they have Halloween 4 and 5 over there. They got a bunch of unique series and shows, like Creepshow is wonderful. They got Joe Bob Briggs, Drive-In, which everybody loves to watch. I think they still have the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre over there, and they got a bunch of Italian Giallo. They got everything you need, everything you want. Bunch of slashers, cheesy old slashers that are just a blast to watch. And they've been a sponsor of the show for ages. So again, head on over to shudder.com, enter code HMT at checkout, get that 30-day free trial instead of that stupid 7-day trial that everybody agrees blows. Also, if you would like to support the show, head over to nightchannels.com. This is the place you go when you need shirts, sweatshirts, these kinds of things to clothe your body with. But you don't just want it to be a regular old Captain America shirt because boo. You want it to be a Sallow t-shirt, the unwatchable shit-eating movie. That's what you want, and you can save. You got those thick, ropey loads of savings by, again, entering code HMT at checkout. You know what? You should probably just go to any old website and use code HMT at checkout and see if it works. Because if you enter code HMT at nightchannels.com, you should get to save 13% off your whole goddamn order. You might as well buy 4 or 5 shirts and then like see all those thick, beefy savings just roll in. You look at your bank account and be like, that didn't hurt nearly so bad.
And we've each bought several t-shirts from there. They've got such a wide array. Like you really got to go to the website and just browse. And you think, you know, when you hear about sponsors of a podcast, I know you're not going to these websites like most of you. I get it. I wouldn't either. But do yourself a favor. Go to nightchannels.com and just browse. And you realize, like,
I've never seen this design before. This is a really cool Altered States t-shirt.
I need this
Critters
the witch shirt.
Yeah, you have the witch shirt.
You'll find something that you need,
Yeah.
and when you do, use code HMT at checkout.
Yeah, we love Night Channels, and really the challenge is we should start a Night Channels challenge where go ahead, head on over there and tell me you didn't see something that you want. Go ahead, be honest. And finally, our final sponsor is Manscaped.com. Manscaped just came out with the Lawnmower 4.0. Have you used yours yet? Your Lawnmower 4.0?
Still sitting right there. Yeah.
Oh man, it's wonderful. It provides a little bit closer shave if you're doing your.
Why are you touching your beard when you say that?
Because I'm a
little concerned.
Well, I look.
It's got a very specific
I'm a man.
purpose.
I'm a man. Therefore, it escapes me. Look, I'm not. Look. Oh, you're so good because you know the wonderful thing about it.
See, that's the thing about having like a dedicated, purpose-driven trimmer for your pubes is that it makes me feel less guilty because we'd have like the trimmers in the household, you know, that I'd. What do you call them? I can't remember what brand it is, like the wall trimmers that you'd buy for like $20 at Walmart. And I'd sit there and trim my pubes, and then like a week later my wife would be running that thing over the children's heads. And I'd be like, ooh, didn't quite brush that off completely.
All right.
Now I don't have to feel that way. I don't have to worry about my pubes like infiltrating my children's skulls. Because now I have Manscaped, the Lawnmower 4.0.
That's right. And also the Weed Whacker. I love the Weed Whacker because I have thick, ropey hairs coming out my nose and ears. And this thing, I've never had it tug on them. I've never had it. Usually they're too substantial. And I have one of these little manual deals that you twist with your fingers. And it just pulls the shit out
See,
of
I have one of those. I've never had it pull that bad.
Mine, well, you must have these little wimpy guys. Mine are.
No, I can pull out one right now.
No, please don't. Please don't. I don't want. Oh no.
Okay, that one's not great.
Damn, I could see that from here. So anyway,
see, it's kind of bittersweet the Weed Whacker because it's kind of one of my favorite things is to manually pull out my nose hairs.
Okay, this is disgusting. If you enter code HMT at manscaped.com, you get to save 20% off your whole order and you get free shipping. So please do us a favor and head on over there. It does help out the show quite a bit.
That's manscaped.com. Use code HMT at checkout for 20% off and free shipping.
You know, if you are listening to these commercials, you should know that you do not have to. If you were a patron by now on our patreon.com/horror movie talk, you could be a patron. We got a bunch of tiers. I'm going to tell you what our $15 tier gets you. The $15 tier is called the 3 Spoopy 5 Me tier. You get a shout out on one of our episodes. You unlock access to our afterpods where it's a whole nother podcast that we leave the mics running and talk about our lives and behind the scenes. You get early access of that week's episode without ads as soon as it's edited. You get access to all our sound drops. Once monthly, you get to suggest a movie for us to review, and you can vote on which movie we review. And you get your listing on the supporters page of our website, and we can include a link to a personal project of yours over there if you're one of those link farmers. And that's for $15 a month, and we've enabled annual memberships. So you can save yourself 13% on your annual membership.
The spookiest percentage.
The spookiest percentage.
And we actually got our first annual member just this week.
That's right.
We got to thank our
recent
patrons. So thank you so much to Taylor F for jumping in right into the deep end with a yearly with a
3 Spoopy 5 Me.
With a yearly 3 Spoopy 5 Me. She's super nice. She was telling us that she got drunk and decided to give us money.
And she didn't ask for it back. It was very impressive.
Also new patrons. I don't know if we've mentioned all these, but I'll just run down the list. Garrett M, Rachel L, Shabby M. Man, Shabby. That's a great name.
I think Shabby is a she. I can never recall, but she shows up on the stream, on the Twitch stream all the time. Yeah. She's wonderful.
And Tyler L. So thank you so much to our new patrons, and we hope you appreciate the exclusive content that you get.
We have 84 patrons right now. We're on our way to 100. If we get to 100, you get to unlock something super cool for everybody. So do everyone a favor. Just hop on there. Check out our resident artist, Dustin Goebel. He's a professional artist who fucks hard. He also takes commissions for artwork from HMT fans. So, make sure to check him out on his Instagram. But just because you're going to see a lot of cool shit over there, because he's an awesome artist. And you can check him out on his Instagram at dgoebel00. That's at DGOEBEL00 on Instagram. We did get a new order of shirts in. We have all the sizes. We are well stocked on shirts now.
Is it in both colors or
in both colors? In both red and black, but just unisex. We still have some female only sized shirts, but let me tell you, the female listeners are way more valuable. Way more valuable. By such a wide fucking margin, it's unbelievable. They show up and support. They're talk.
So much more generous.
They're so much more generous.
So much more active.
I wish the dudes would take this as an insult, but I kind of think they just like, I don't care.
I know how we are. I know how I am.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like 70% of our listeners are dudes, but easily more than 50% of our supporters are women. So do the math. It's damning to men.
It's our sex appeal. Obviously, that's what it is.
Maybe it's that
all the females.
Maybe it's that we're not threatening at all.
Now I'm an internet troll.
Yeah, well.
All these females just really want to get on our good side because, eventually when they meet us, they'll be like, hey, I sent you some ducats.
It's that we're not threatening at all. It's that we don't, they're not like, oh, he looks.
Yeah.
We're
like basically like
someone who's going to make a move.
We're one step away from eunuch. So.
Ew.
Yeah, that's the universal, hey, ladies.
Ew, no, David.
Yeah, no. That's always what it gets.
And I'm all,
I will suck your dick. I will suck your fucking dick. I will do it. Just join my team.
Just join my team.
So if you want to leave us a voicemail, call 682-253-4468. Let's get into spoilers.
Let's do it. Spoilers. That was
perfect. Perfect.
Well done. Okay, Bryce. This movie is you remember those games that we used to play, those video games when we were young men. Specifically, I'm referencing young men because that was really the last time I played any single-player games. They're on
Like
rails.
Zork?
No.
Okay.
I don't know what you're talking, like Medal of Honor or something like that.
Okay.
They're on rails. You know, you can march down the beach of Normandy this far or that far in either direction, but then you run into a barrier, and you're just kind of forced down this funnel all the way until the end.
Man, okay, keep going.
That's this movie. It's just kind of a funnel. It's not a terrible one. There are some real bad funnel movies, like that Rogue Squadron movie, that Star Wars Rogue, blah. That was a piece of shit on rails that I just could not. I was just like, this is so boring. I can't believe it.
David, that's the best Star Wars movie.
It's not.
That's the best. There's a consensus. It's the absolute best out of all the new Star Wars movies.
I don't know what you're talking
You're on the wrong side of history.
Well, good. I hope the history books reflect this part.
Everyone loves bland characters with no discernible motivation.
I see. Now that is a critique of Rogue's whatever it is, Rogue Spear,
Rogue
or whatever
One.
the fuck it is. Rogue One.
Robo-Spear.
Robo-Spear. Not Quiet Place. Like, these characters I do care about. Although mostly from the setup of the first movie.
Right.
Which I mean, if you're
I'll say I care about him, but all of a sudden I really don't care about the young boy.
Well, you have a little bit of a vendetta against him.
We'll get to it.
We will get to it. But anyway, this movie is on rails, and it does entirely hinge on the viewing of the first movie for all the character setup, for all the story setup. You're going to be a little bit confused if you entered this without having seen the first movie first.
I don't think so. It sets it up. I don't think you have to see the first movie to appreciate the second one, because it does set it up. It gives
Boy, it sure does help.
A what's it called? It has a flashback of when the aliens arrive in their town. So that explains what it is and what's going on.
That is true.
Like, in fact, can I talk about
You
that
can talk
same
about
element?
whatever you want.
Like, it almost expects you to know the first movie more than it probably should, because
That's what I'm saying.
One of my first questions was, in that flashback when the monsters are ravaging their town and they're trying to escape from it, it feels like John Krasinski's character already knows not to make a sound.
Oh yeah,
like,
right.
Not just like we're hiding, but specifically
we're being quiet.
Don't make a sound because they can see you if you make a sound.
Right.
And it's a little bit of like being a little too tailored to the audience and not thinking like, maybe we should show them discovering that. That would be a little more interesting.
You're making my point. This is my exact point. Is it does lean a little heavy on that first movie. It's a little confusing if you haven't seen it. Not terribly confused. They did do a pretty good job with that flashback, but there are some little things that'll niggle at you. They're not movie breaking in any.
Like, what things do you think?
Specifically, what you mentioned, like just the lore, just the things that are learned in this movie. You learned them in the first movie, and they're reminding of you of them in the second movie, but not like in a fleshed out way.
Yeah.
Just like they see you through sound. It's like, well, how do you know that? They showed up 10 seconds ago, and you somehow know to be
right,
to be very quiet. But yeah, this movie, this movie is so general in its kind of like on rails kind of like thing that we can kind of go over the bones of it and then just discuss what we really liked and really didn't like about this, because.
So just go over the synopsis, basically.
Yeah, the synopsis of it is, okay, we accept the premise that John Krasinski is now dead.
Yeah. So, I mean, this movie is like a true sequel in that it basically feels like the 4th through 6th act of the first movie.
Exactly.
It's slightly more than an epilogue to the second movie.
It's very Lord of the Ringsy. It's just like, here's the second one. We pick up right where we left off.
So they start out at the farm that the first one was based around right after they kill the alien and John Krasinski is dead. And they start walking towards another, place that they know people are living because there's like fires.
Yeah,
on the hillside.
The fires of Gondor.
Uh-huh. And Gondor seeks their aid. And so they go and they find Cillian Murphy after jangling some chains and getting attacked by aliens.
Right.
And then Cillian Murphy's character is like, you can't stay here. No,
yeah, and
can't stay here because I am a solitude man.
Right.
And all my people are dead. And
I can't do it. I don't have the mental strength for this right now.
And so
I'm not strong like your father was.
And then the girl, I don't know what her name is. The whole premise of the movie is basically trying to find a way to spread the news that her screeching hearing aid is the solution to all our problems.
Right.
If you've watched the first one, that's how it ends.
Well, once they've found Cillian Murphy, they get a radio signal. So now they're given this clue. Oh, he's like, oh yeah, you get this radio signal, and they keep playing this one song that has this hidden message in it. I don't know why they chose to play a song that you have to decipher instead of just saying, we're at this island, you should come to this island. But the message in the radio signal is, come to this island.
Well, maybe the aliens actually know English. They just don't understand.
This movie is just I Am Legend. Mm-hmm. It's all it is. It's Lord of the I Am Legend.
So they discover after listening to Szechuan Murphy's radio that there's a radio station playing, and so she decides that she's going to go take her hearing aid and blast it across the land through this radio station. And she goes off on her own because she knows that she can save everyone. And then Emily Blunt's character begs City Murphy's character to go and find her daughter and bring her back, because
then it becomes a journey. Half of the movie is a journey between Cillian Murphy and the daughter trying to find this island, and the other half is survival for the son, baby, and mom sitting in this like bomb shelter.
Right. So even though Cillian Murphy is very adamant that he wants them to leave, he, I guess, acquiesces and goes after the girl. So that's one half of the movie, is that whole story. And then the other half is Emily Blunt's character, the mother, realizing that their bastard in a basket. It's not a bastard. Their baby in a basket has an oxygen tank that's running out.
I've abandoned my boy. I've abandoned my child.
Bastard in a basket. She needs to go back to town to get an oxygen tank for her baby in a basket, and leaving alone their surprisingly inept son.
You're such a... Oh, my God.
You're such a dick, David.
You're such a dick, Bryce.
And so that's kind of the other half of the storyline. And like you said, it feels very much on rails, literally, because they're following the train tracks.
That too, yeah.
I can't believe that Bryce
thinks a 12-year-old boy is so well equipped to handle this post-apocalyptic world.
And so, I mean, the end is like they find this island with people on it that have figured out that the aliens can't swim, and they're all living their best life.
Yeah, the secret to this the secret to this movie is it's Lord of the I Am Legend Signs edition. Science edition. Swing away, Meryl. That it turns out the secret the whole time was water. Aliens, generally speaking, can't handle water. Did you know that they can't handle... Some aliens can't handle the common cold, and others can't handle water. But it's always common. And, you know, if they have a strength, it's also their weakness.
Right.
You know?
There's, you know, you mentioned science. There was a thing in this movie that I expected to be like a swing away Meryl thing that never paid off. And I don't understand, like, what the big deal was when Evelyn, the mother, tells the son, like, breathe. Just breathe. And I thought there'd be some kind of callback or payoff for that, like, just breathe or be calm in the moment or something. And there's never a payoff. Kid's, like, just super panicky the whole time. Making stupid mistakes.
This is clearly going to segue into a third movie that will pick up directly on the coattails of this one. And you will get your payoff then.
So, okay, so that's... And they, you know, they eventually accomplish their mission. End of movie. So let's talk about some of these beats that I have problems with.
Contentious.
This movie definitely did not suspend my disbelief as much as the first one. Like, I was on board with the first one a lot more, and the second one had a lot more parts that bother me. And there's a couple choices that they made that kind of undercut the suspense and stuff in this movie. One of the first things that they did is that they show the monster a lot. Like, the first one, it was kind of an unseen force. Like, it would sweep across the camera in a blur, and you just know, bad monster, bad. This one, like, you get real intimate with these monsters, and they're not particularly interesting. You know, it's not like the xenomorphs.
Right.
I have dubbed them the bitch slap monsters.
They're the librarians.
Well, not just, but specifically the way they attack is just to bitch slap people across the room. Like, that's their main attack is bitch slap. And then also, after you see them so many times, they're also less intimidating almost because they move like an excited dog in the morning on a tile floor.
Wow, this is very accurate.
They're just sliding across everywhere. They're like tippy tappy, just sliding into the door.
Yeah,
like these aliens don't seem super intelligent, and they don't have any. There's no real like reason for why they just want to attack everything. Like, that would have also been an interesting thing if they like learned more about the aliens and what their motivations were, or what the whole point of those aliens are. Which, I get it. It's not, maybe there's...
What's your favorite alien invasion movie? There's a lot of choices, right? There's Cloverfield, there's The Mist, there's just a tremendous amount.
It's hard to say. I'm gonna say, I mean, there's a lot of choices, but I'm gonna go with Mars Attacks. Just because it holds a special place in my heart.
But I'm gonna give you one that I think you might make you change your mind, just because I remember having discussions with you. District 9.
Yeah. Yeah, District 9 is fantastic.
Woo, baby! I think they're coming out with a honest to God sequel to it too. Yeah, with the prawns.
Man, why is it taking so long?
Oh, man,
why did they do those other movies that no one cares about?
It's got a real good RoboCop vibe to it.
They did. Like, what did they do? They did Chappie, and they did that one with Matt Damon,
Elysium. Yeah,
I haven't even seen either one of those.
Not great. I'm gonna say I've seen both. And they got nothing to do with District 9. Really, right. They're just somehow like they're both just set in South Africa.
Right.
It's like, okay.
So that's a pretty great one.
A District 9 Quiet Place would be wonderful. Where you get like deep into the nitty gritty of, oh man, like the social aspects of how this alien works. Granted, this is more of a bug than even the prawns are.
Right.
But yeah, I agree with you. There's like this.
The monster's just not that interesting
Not compelling.
to watch for an extended amount of time.
Right.
And that kind of, again, undercuts the suspense because you're like, okay, I get it.
But
like, it's the same thing over and over again.
You and I appreciate are more often quoted as saying, "Show me less monster. My mind will fill in the rest." I've been going through a lot of bad movie reviews for specifically monster movies lately, and a lot of them are just people being like, they didn't show the monster enough. I got like 18 they showed in Alien, they showed the monster for like a total of 18 seconds. What the fuck is that? And all I got was jazz hands. And it's like, well, yeah, fair point, but also
that underlines why you don't show it.
Right, exactly. But a lot of people do want to see the monster more, and just really get off on that. So I don't know, maybe different strokes on that a little bit. But what's another thing that does or does not work for you about this?
Okay, here's where we have an argument.
Yeah, this is the argument.
Right.
Get ready, buckle up, kids.
Okay, so the movie jumps forward. What is it? 400 and
to day
400. It's on day 474 since the first alien invasion. So that's basically the day that John Krasinski's character died.
Yeah, about a
in
year
the first
and a quarter. Yeah.
So they've been having this for a year and a quarter. They're trained to not make a peep or else you will die. Okay. Sure. This is nitpicky, but I think the reality of the situation would play out differently because they're following the torches of Gondor to find Sweet and Sour Murphy, and they jangle some chains, but more importantly, the boy steps inside a giant bear trap that snaps around his leg, and this kid screeches like a fucking banshee for like a full 2 minutes.
I'm gonna let you finish.
And I would contest that I get it. It hurts. You're a young kid. Like, there's a certain amount of involuntary sound that will come out when your leg is caught in a bear trap. However,
I'm so irritated at this.
if it was a life or death situation, even a 12-year-old boy would have the sense of self-preservation to stifle a scream, an extended scream.
There's so many reasons why you're wrong. There's like so many reasons why you're wrong.
There are people that break their leg that don't make a sound.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And also, like, there's a certain phenomenon of like shock or like adrenaline and like your own body like blocking the actual continual feeling of extreme pain to where you could probably manage not screeching
Yes.
for a full like 320 seconds.
Uh-huh.
That's all I'm saying.
Uh-huh.
I'm not saying no sound. I'm just saying when you know that there's alien monsters that will attack you if you break a twig too loud, that you've been on high alert for 474 days. This is your life, and you've seen your loved ones myrtleized by the bitch slap
Librarians.
clumsy dog monsters.
Yeah.
You should be able to stifle a scream after a couple seconds.
All right.
That's all I'm saying.
Are you done?
Go for it.
Okay. I was very respectful, and I allowed you to complete your thought in its entirety. I hope. Unless you have more. Do you have more?
Go ahead, David.
Okay. So I'm gonna explain. I'm just gonna lay down my opinion of this whole thing, and this is obviously a touchy subject for Bryce, and for me. I'm not going to contend on any of that.
This is one of those situations where David feels like it's a super, super heated argument, and only he is super heated in this. I just feel like I'm making the logical argument.
I'm doing a lot of interrupting here already. Boy, calmer than you are.
I'm just saying.
Okay, are you done? Mm-hmm. Okay. Oh, it's my turn to talk now. Okay, thank you. Okay, so here's the thing.
So David thinks that this kid can not help but scream. Okay, sorry. I'll let you finish. I'm gonna let you finish.
Are you sure? Are you going to be okay? You're going to make it through this? Okay. So you're 12 years old. You've literally minutes ago, you've lost your dad. You know, it's been 24 hours maybe since dad died. You're running for your life. Granted, you're on high alert. You've just stepped in a bear trap, and it is an excited utterance. There is you didn't see this coming. This is not as though you were waiting for a stick to hit you in the face for, I don't know, for the 10 seconds you're running towards it. Completely out of the blue and unforeseen. Boom. And you just excitedly screech. You go, ah, ah! So that's number one. Number two, he's 12. But most importantly, the biggest reason why you are definitely wrong on this is it sets the stakes in the scene. If he was deadly silent throughout the bear trap wrapping around his foot suddenly, there would be no real stakes because these librarians wouldn't hear him, and then we'd just be stuck in a field with an owie. And that doesn't create the stakes. So just from a formulaic how does a movie work point, this is important for him to scream right here because that's how you get the stakes of the scene.
Wrong. So this is I'll counteract each one of your points. Okay, first of all, you say he's just seen his father die, which I don't understand how that contributes to him screaming. If anything, it would contribute to him having more motivation not to scream because he's seen what happens to his loved ones. First of all, self-preservation, but also he cares about his mother and sister.
No, it sets the state of mind. This is how a lawyer proves
a state of mind. Sure.
Yeah, state of mind.
Yeah, self-preservation and scared of being murdered would be the state of mind. The second point of saying it's necessary for the storytelling, false.
Wasn't my second point.
They've already. Okay, that's your third point. They've already set the stakes because they've already jangled that chain by going through the fence.
Yeah, sure, but now they have a continuous alarm sounding. Yeah. A boy yelling.
See, this is how I envision it being more interesting. Okay, would be they jangle the chain. They're like panicking. They're running to safety. He gets his foot caught in the bear trap. This is the exact same as the movie up to this point. The movie says he screeches for like minutes as they're trying to claw this bear trap off of his leg and move on. So he's just making it worse. Like he's not the cause of the aliens coming towards them. They're already running.
Right.
And it's the effect of it. And then he's screaming. They get him out and they get to, wherever Cillian Murphy is, and I couldn't come up with a funny name. Wherever he is, and the kid's still screeching. So it's like just getting the aliens to follow him. What would be more interesting to me, and what the first movie was better at, was put them in a situation where a normal person would screech like a banshee.
Oh, you mean like getting your foot stuck in a bear trap?
Like getting your foot stuck in a bear trap. But because of self-preservation and the world that the movie is set in, they stifle it, and it's super impressive and it raises the tension because you know they want to scream. So the first movie does it 2 times that are fantastic. Number 1, she gives birth to a child without making a peep. Second, she steps on a nail on the stairway. Like, each of those would, you know, you would assume cause an involuntary peep at least. Mm-hmm. And that's what creates the dramatic tension. So that's like the more interesting choice. And this, they just go, oh, he just screams.
This makes
he can't help
this
it.
makes so much real sense to me, though. It's like I have kids, and I know that you just can't stop them from screeching when they have an owie, no matter how high the stakes are. And I mean, given
up to a certain age, yeah, but he's past that age.
I mean, is he? He doesn't seem to be. Throughout the entire movie, he's a little bitch.
I guess. I don't know. I guess maybe that's where the disconnect is, because he's probably supposed to be the same age that he was in the first one, because it's right after.
Yeah.
And I can't remember what age he looked like in the first movie, but the age now is, 3 years later.
Yeah.
So there's definitely a huge step up in maturity and like executive function when it gets to like a 12-year-old versus an 8-year-old.
Right.
Maybe that's where my disconnect is.
I see where you're coming from, and I respect what you're saying, but I'll leave it at the next time you make a hit blockbuster sequel to your first very successful movie, you can make it this way. And I'm not saying that it wouldn't be better the way you're suggesting it is. I just think that this is very believable as is. That's all I'm trying to say.
Yeah, like it broke the illusion for me.
Yeah, I can understand that.
So anyways, that's the first argument. I'm sure we'll have more.
So so I was a little bit confused by Emmett. They get to Emmett's warehouse. This is a big, old, abandoned industrial put-together facility. And Emmett's immediate response, well, he sets it up by being like, my wife and kids are dead.
My wife.
And I am sad, and you can't stay here. But there's a bunch of, like, weird animosity from Emmett that I had no idea where it was coming from.
Well, yeah, and first it kind of sets it up in the flashback that Emmett, played by Celtic Murphy,
Emmett J. Otterton,
is a family friend. Like, he's at this baseball game where this flashback occurs, and he's like communicating with the family, and it's obvious that they have a close relationship. So when they arrive, like, he's hiding his face and ashamed because he knows them and he cares about them, but still, through a sense of self-preservation, like, he has to push them away because there's limited resources, and he knows that he's going to die and they're going to die if they stay.
Okay, this makes a little bit more. That clears that up a little bit for me, but it doesn't spell it out very, very well. And
right.
I was just kind of like, what's Emmett doing here? And by the way, like, when they found Emmett, I was like, oh, good. You found the one guy who can definitely make it through an apocalypse. The guy from 28 Days Later. This guy knows what the fuck is up and what to do in this sort of scenario.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When the little girl, not little girl, she's the teenage girl, decides to set out on this mission to find the promised land, I had a little bit of an eye roll moment, but it was also, I thought that was an interesting. If you're gonna send someone, send the least well-equipped person to do this thing.
Right.
Send the deaf girl who can't even hear the noises that she makes.
What are you saying?
What?
That she's less adept than an able-bodied person?
She can't hear the doors that she's opening squeak. So, yeah, I'm going to say, yes, I'm going to say specifically that she is less capable.
Well, that's really ableist of you.
Oh, well, if anybody wants to say that, they can just...
Sabrina, don't just stare at it. Eat it.
They can eat it. And they'll know to eat it because they hear the words that I'm saying.
Jesus.
Ooh. Oh, boy, that one stings. I'm going to pay for that. But, yeah, the amount of times that... I'm starting to wonder if maybe I've just seen way too many movies at this point, and I'm able to make all these connections of I Am Legend, Lord of the Rings, and signs like, oh, so the two big weaknesses of these monsters are obviously if they use hearing to find their prey, then you can exploit that by making loud noises and they freak out. But also they can't swim worth a damn. So water, and I found
it's always water.
It's always water. Can't handle the water.
I want to make an alien invasion movie where they're water dwellers, and they just go into the water, and there's no like fallout whatsoever.
That movie exists.
They just attack all the sea life, and we're like, well, I guess we got to just eat more cows now.
It's The Abyss. That movie. We don't even know about them. They're just down there.
Well, yeah, The Abyss. I don't think they're necessarily. They're not invading aliens. They've always been there. That's a difference.
Have they always? Is that the kind of the premise of that? Is that they've always been there? Huh.
Yeah, I think they were just doing underwater research. You know, as one does, and they stumble across the aliens, but maybe we're the aliens to them.
Oh shit!
But yeah, that'd be great. An alien invasion movie that has no ill effects towards humanity.
Yeah, it's
like, oh shit! I guess we don't have blue whales anymore.
Well, this is great.
We were already kind of expecting that in the first place, so I mean, I guess this just kind of more sped it up.
This is great news for the krill population. Finally, a pro-krill movie.
So one of the things about this movie that I had questions about is, for a post-apocalyptic movie, where are all the bodies?
We do get to see some on the start of our young maiden's journey to find the island. She goes through the train, and there's a bunch of dead bodies on the train. And I thought about this when she got to the train. I was like, where are all the dead bodies? Because now you see all the dead bodies. But for the most part, they're journeying through the countryside of New York. Like, they're in very remote places, basically. But when they get to populous places, then you kind of see the dead bodies a little bit.
Right.
But it's a good point. There's not as much.
Yeah, and that's the other like nitpicky question for both of these movies is like, how many of these aliens are there that you can't...
So many!
You can't be in the remotest woods, the remotest cabin in the woods, and still worry about breaking a twig. It's like, there's 9 billion people on Earth right now, and I can still find a place on Earth where it's, you know, hundreds of miles away from anyone else.
Yeah.
So what's the deal here? Like, are we just looking at the dumbest people that are like staying around the epicenter of this invasion and not just going to, you know, Wyoming?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's definitely one of the questions that comes up when you're watching the movie. You're like, God damn, these things must be fucking everywhere. Like, everywhere.
Every family gets assigned 3.
Or they're just so fast and able to hear so much that they're, you know, they're on top. They're Johnny on the spot anytime a twig drops.
It's more of like a supernatural force than anything, because they do not obey the laws of physics in this movie. Like, in the end with what's his name?
Cillian Murphy?
No. I don't want to be racist and say the black guy, but the black guy at the end of the movie. So they're driving away.
It's not racist to say he's black.
I feel like it is.
Okay. Wow.
I'm just on edge about everything.
Yeah, I hear you.
Some of us are more sensitive about, being ableist and racist than others. I'm pretty woke, is what I'm saying.
If you're racist, I can see why that would be a really big concern of yours,
So at the end of the movie, they're driving away in like a Mustang, and they've slammed on the gas, and they've been driving away for a good 10 Mississippi, and still the monster is able to leap onto the back of the car.
They're very athletic.
How far?
Aliens.
How far can these aliens jump?
Yeah, I mean,
and they've already shown that they're like the clumsiest fucking organisms on the planet, just skittering and sliding and slamming into stuff all the time.
They've already shown they're aggressive towards boats. Yeah. So as our Sicilian Murphy and our hard of hearing young woman go on their journey to find the island, they make their way to a spot where they find some boats, and this is a point in the movie, kind of the second act climax, which is substantial. Like there's a first act climax, there's a second act climax, and there's a third act climax. But the second act climax is long because it follows every character in the movie and sets up stakes for each one of them in a pretty cool way. But
I don't know. Is it a cool way? Isn't it all the exact same? Like, aren't they all in basically the exact same situation? They're all wandering off, and then they make a sound accidentally.
Well, this is the way this movie works.
Uh-huh.
You've described
I feel like
the mechanic of the movie.
I know, but I feel like there should be more reasons for having to create sound, and other than just clumsiness.
Well, yeah, they did, and that's where I'm going with this.
Okay.
Is the little girl on the dock? Sicilian Murphy approaches her, and she appears to be crying on the dock at night, all alone. And he's like, "I'm going to comfort you."
That was like the most interesting choice in the movie.
Yeah, and then she shackles him around the neck with a noose that has a bunch of noisemakers attached to it, so he can't get up.
Right,
he can't walk around. And I just kept thinking, well, get up and walk around. Walk toward these people. Like, hug them. Like, hug this man. Like, so there's these, like, towny folk.
Well, right. I mean, that's probably one of the most interesting world-building aspects of this movie, is that you haven't seen a soul in the movie at all. You're like, who could have survived this apocalypse? Like, this nice family and Silly Murphy. Like, it's... And then you find out who survives. It's the hardiest, most sturdy people.
Rednecks.
Boat people.
Boat rednecks. Yeah, no, and they all had super bloodshot eyes. Mm-hmm. All of them. Mm-hmm. In like I think this is going to be a thing in the next movie. It's going to be, we're moving towards the Walking Dead territory, right?
Right.
Where you're going to learn about all the different people and the bands.
Yeah, I mean, this movie, it never quite delves too deeply into like real darkness in terms of like what happens to people in emergencies, extended emergencies, where self-preservation is the number one priority. And like zombie movies explore that really deeply, and it gets into really dark places. And that's like the interesting stuff about Walking Dead, is the people.
Yeah.
And this one just kind of like, meh. There's some bad people. We found them.
I think they might have scurvy. I'm not joking.
You got to get some lime wedges.
Yeah. Yeah, scurvy. I wonder if there's an uptick in scurvy because of the uptick in keto.
I don't know. I don't think so.
It would make sense though, right? You're not eating a bunch of fruits that contain what is scurvy is a lack of vitamin C, right?
Yeah, maybe. All I know is that they like cured it with just like
lemons.
Here's a lime.
Yeah. Here, have some oranges.
Yeah.
Isn't it amazing that at some point on Earth you couldn't just go to a store and pick up like Oh, I want
don't
some
think-
Tangelos.
Yeah, I don't think like limes and lemons have like an extreme amount of carbs in them.
Oh yeah, they're just sugar.
Well, yeah, but you're only gonna like sprinkle it on. You're not gonna like eat an entire lemon.
If you're trying to avoid carbs, I mean, who? I don't know.
Yeah, but some droplets of. I mean, even in keto, you have some carbs.
Keto freaks, let us know. Between your bouts of peeing out your ass, get on the computer or give us a call at 682-253-4468. Let us know about the nutritional facts behind lemons, limes, and oranges. It's important for us to get these facts straight.
One of the sorry, this is another thing that bothered me, or actually just made me amused. This was something that I noticed was the family has gone to great lengths to muffle everything about their presence,
Yeah.
and one of them is they don't wear shoes.
Yeah.
And they're like light stepping across everything.
Yeah.
And like in effect cutting up their feet and like making it much worse for themselves. And I just love the fact that no attention is brought to the fact that
Cillian Murphy
Murphy's has boots.
Yeah.
And it is just as effective. It's like you can just step lightly in boots and you'll still be fine,
I mean, I don't know. You take great lengths to say I'm not going to try and pick this apart, and then you like just proceed to just like eviscerate.
I didn't say I wasn't going to try to pick it apart. Like it just makes it amusing to me that they go to too far lengths, and it just kind of undercuts it to where like, yeah, sometimes you can make bad decisions.
Right. Oh yeah. Well, I mean, that's true to life. We all know that guy who wears shorts all the time, no matter what the weather. Shorts and sandals. A fucking idiot. But that's what these people are doing. It's just a real life. It's just a real life scenario. So they get to the island. She unleashes her earwax fueled hearing aid on the world with
on the masses.
This radio signal, saves her family just in time with the radio signal, and
it's a pretty predictable ending.
It sure is.
It's all right though.
It is all right.
What are you gonna do?
I like I said,
one thing that I wish they killed someone. I wish like the mom was killed or Cillian Murphy was killed.
What if the baby had died?
Or the baby, like that. Maybe it would have been too similar to the first one, but I feel like that would have been more impactful. That if one of these characters that we're following, I vote for the young boy.
My need to engage in homicidal behavior on a massive scale cannot be corrected, but I have no other way to fulfill my needs.
It's Bryce. So, yeah, I'd say my final recommendation for this is if you like the first one, this is a no-brainer. Yeah. It's not going to be as magical, but boy, it's one thing we didn't touch on. The jump scares in this are fucking bonkers. Absolutely bonkers. If you are someone who is like who hates jump scares, this is definitely not your movie. This movie it is tattooed into my brain, these jump scares. I remember every single one. They are so loud and so shockingly timed. Although many of them, well, no, a few of them, I'd say they were well done jump scares, but there are definitely a few that you're going to go, of course, yes, here it is, boom. Anyway, what about you? Final recommendations?
Yeah, go see it. Go see it in your local theater. It's an enjoyable movie. It's an exciting movie. So yeah, I'd recommend it.
Let us know what you think in terms of the boy. Should the boy have screamed, or did it make sense? Was it logical, or am I giving? Is Bryce giving them too much credit?
Both of them feel logical. One of them feels more logical.
Okay,
that's all I'm saying.
And with that, do you have the intro music for Horror or Porno?
Horror porno.
So, horror or porno is a game where we try to guess, Bryce in this case will try to guess, whether or not the sound clip that I play is from a porno movie or from a horror movie.
Horror.
And depending on what you hear, now, it may not be immediately apparent to you that horror movies have a lot of sound effects that are similar to pornos, but
There's a lot of squishing.
just track.
There's a lot of like rhythmic stabbing,
You'll play, listen to the game,
lots of screaming,
play along.
saying, "Oh God, oh God."
Each question has 2 points available. One for answering correctly whether or not it's a horror or a porno, and 2 for guessing the title.
Right.
Okay. So with that, let's get into it. Here we go. Horror or porno? What do you think? What is this, Bryce? Is this a horror
I'm closing
movie
my eyes. I'm
or a
paying attention.
porno movie? By the way, I have a little bit of a fro going on. This is my hair just does this when it gets long.
It's good.
It is good.
This is good.
Okay, here we go. Pretty good, right?
Wow.
Eat it, Bryce.
Good pull. Good pull. See, this is always the assumption I make, and it always bites me. But I'm going to say I feel with the soundtrack, with the backing music, it feels more like a horror movie. Like lots of like intense strings and orchestral stabs. Feels like it's leaning towards a horror movie.
Okay.
And I'm going to say the horror movie it's got to be a Friday the 13th movie. I don't know how many of those are there. Let's just say 6.
Okay. I'm sorry, Bryce.
Oh.
You got neither of these are correct. This is a porno. This is Ace Ventura, Crack Detective.
Damn.
Yeah, you do have to.
So what's happening in that scene? Why is it okay?
You know what's happening. It's Ace Ventura, Crack Detective. So here's our second clip. Bryce is 0 for 1. Here we go. Is this a horror movie or a porno?
My husband's been away on business for a while, and I've been playing with a guy from work. His name is Victor, and Victor has a little fetish. He loves it when I'm subservient and when I call him master. So I am practicing to be his naughty little sex slave. And I have to ask him permission to do just about everything. He really loves to tease me and get me wet.
I know this one.
Oh,
This one's actually pretty easy. This is a horror movie. And it's the 30s classic Frankenstein.
Okay. Wow, Bryce. Okay.
That was Igor talking about Victor Frankenstein.
You are surprisingly close. First of all, yes, you get a point. This is a horror movie. Is not Frankenstein. This is actually Castle Freak.
Oh, okay.
But it makes sense though, right?
Oh, man, I really felt like feel like I've heard that quote before in Frankenstein, but I guess I'm
you
wrong.
have on Castle.
All right, so I got 1 point.
That's a Full Moon production, by the way.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Okay, third clip, horror or porno. Bryce on the board.
Just Hello, lover.
Is that a horror movie or a porno?
Okay. So this one I feel like I know too. Pretty sure this is a porno.
Okay.
And it's well, this is where I've seen it. It's probably I'm not sure what the source material is.
Dirty bird, look at you.
I'm not sure what the source material is, but I know that I've seen this clipped on the Surprise Anal Compilation 5.
Wow. Okay. Well, I'll give you both points for that one. I don't know about your compilation clip, but it's hard. There are a fucking lot of pornos, right? Because it's easy to have sex. This is a porno. 2 points for this.
Yes.
Porno. Man on the poon. Yeah. That's it. This is a fun one. This was a fun.
So
one.
is it a takeoff on the Andy Kaufman story?
I don't. Boy, what? Not familiar.
Man in the Moon?
I don't know what you're talking about, really.
Isn't that the... Am I not remembering the title right?
Oh, yeah, maybe.
The Jim Carrey vehicle? About Andy Kaufman? Not Andy Kaufman. Is it Andy Kaufman?
Yeah,
I don't
it
know.
is.
Okay.
It is. Okay, well, great job. So you have 3 points now. Way to go.
This is probably the best I've ever done.
Oh, yeah.
On horror porno.
Fourth clip. Here we got 4 more to go. Here.
Fuck my dirty shithole. Yeah, what's
You want to hear that one again? Maybe,
yes.
Maybe just the start.
Yes.
Fuck my dirty shithole. Yeah, what's
Yeah.
What is she saying at the very beginning?
I think she said, fuck my dirty shithole.
I mean, that's gotta be a porno, right?
That's what makes this game hard.
I mean,
no pun intended.
I think this might be the situation where after she says that, she looks into the camera because that's the actual title of the film. Daddy, fuck my shithole.
Okay. What's your answer?
That's my answer. It's a porno. The porno is Daddy, fuck my shithole.
Yeah, I can see why you might think that, definitely. That's why this game is difficult, but this is actually Final Destination 2.
Fuck! I haven't seen those movies.
You haven't seen any of them?
I haven't seen one of them.
I think you'd like the first one, just based on your enjoyment of kind of exploitation. Okay, sorry, no points awarded. Here is the 5th clip. Is this a horror or a porno?
Oh, God! Oh, fuck! I'm gonna fucking use you until I kill all of you! Fuck! Yes! Oh, fuck! Yeah! Pound that fucking pussy! Pound my fucking pussy harder!
I'll have to fix that one in post. It's kind of quiet. I didn't expect it to be so quiet. My apologies.
So, I mean, it's got to be a porno. I'm not going to venture a guess on what porno it is because, there's millions of them. But I'm going to say it's a porno.
Ooh, yeah, I'm sorry. That was The Craft. So, afraid you missed that one.
The original or the recent remake?
That was the original.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So let's. Here's the 6th one. You still have 3 points. This is the 6th question. it goes on that way.
Well, I know this one.
Oh, wow.
Because we're...
You know a lot of these.
We're reviewing the next one.
Oh, okay.
We're reviewing it next, recording. Mm-hmm. This is from The Evil Dead, 1981. It's a horror movie.
I played a dirty game here.
Uh-oh.
I watched that movie too.
Uh-huh.
Obviously, and I thought I got to get something that's similar enough that Bryce will. So the amount of time and effort I put in and elbow grease I put into this game, substantial. I watched so much fucking porn. I watched porn until my eyes bled.
This cannot be a porn.
It is. This is Sex Busters.
What?
You've heard of Sex Busters.
All right, that makes sense. Because the voice is what was throwing me. Like, it's a demonic voice.
It's a demonic voice. This is the Ghostbusters porn.
All right. Okay, is that the last one?
No, one more. Here we go.
Okay.
Here we go.
I'm not going to win.
I'm so sorry, baby.
Daddy, what is that? Daddy, look at me. It's me.
Daddy, what is that? Lots of dripping.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this one is a porno.
Okay.
This one is from Daddy Fuck My Shithole.
Okay. It is a porn. You get a point. You win the game. This is the Cockfather.
Okay.
That's the Cockfather.
I was close.
You were close. Way to go, Bryce. I'm very proud of.
We're getting better at these. Well, it's so hard. I mean, what this game really demonstrates is
how much porn you watch.
If there's a Venn diagram of sound from horror movies and sound from porno movies, there's only just slivers on the outside.
Yes, yeah, just a little bit excluded. Yeah, and even then, it's like they're basically just one circle. Okay, let's get into our final bit. Horror movie talk. Don't be a little bitch. Call into the show. Give us your opinions. Give us your hate. Let us bathe in your opinions at 682-253-4468. Just a few this time around. You all been slacking, so if you want to get on the show, you can for sure do so by calling 682-253-4468. Let's hear our first caller. This is our longtime buddy, Jason.
Hey, it's your boy Jason. Long time, no call. So the other day while I was working, I was listening to the podcast, and it was the Poltergeist episode. And
by the way, Poltergeist did very, 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 very well.
Not surprising.
Train to Busan is set to be just as good.
Yeah, Poltergeist isn't surprising because I think that is like
quintessential,
the kind of the sleeper most popular horror movie of all time.
You could be right.
People don't talk about it as much as like Texas Chainsaw Massacre or The Exorcist, but I think it's probably the most popular horror movie for all like demographics.
It's kind of weird. The big ones that are like what you're describing, these sleeper ones, are all tied to Steven Spielberg.
Yeah,
Jaws, Gremlins, Poltergeist.
Right.
These are just beloved.
Train to Busan. That one's just been requested forever.
Yeah. And for good reason. So
it's so hard to get to all these movies.
It is. We only have 52 weeks in the year.
Yeah. Just another shout out for Patreon. If you want to influence us on what movie we watch, there is a tier where you get to have input and vote on it.
Yeah, it's a $15 tier.
And then there's also another tier where you can just tell us to make one.
Yeah. It's much more expensive.
And It's literally only for you. Like we won't release it if you don't want us to.
Yeah.
So
you get to own the whole episode.
Yeah, that's price to value.
Jason continues.
No, I noticed something that David was talking about, like, why the fuck are these people still in the fucking house after all that shit that happened? You know, and then Bryce is like, well, the lady said it was clear. Like, I gotta say, I gotta go with David on this one. If that happened to me, I'd get the fuck out of that house. I mean, the people in Amityville Horror had the right idea. The moment shit went crazy, they all fucking left. And they never even went back. I mean, me personally, what I would have done is the moment stuff starts flying off the shelves or something in the house, I'd get the fuck out of there and never turn back. Oh, well, just a thought right there. You guys are doing a good job. Keep it up.
Thanks, Jason.
We love you, Jason.
I mean, me, myself, personally, I think that once a psychic tells you your house is clear, I trust them that in the house, if there's anything about psychics and mediums,
it's that they're reliable and trustworthy.
They're reliable and trustworthy.
Right. Yes. But then also,
they'd be nothing without that public trust.
To play devil's advocate, and just side with Bryce here for a little bit. I think I'm an extraordinarily hypervigilant person. Some would say borderline paranoid, and my threshold for shit taking is dangerously low. Whereas other people seem to just be able to overlook all kinds of weird bullshit. I think Bryce could stay in a haunted house much longer than I could, just by virtue of the fact that he would probably, he wouldn't equate it to. He'd just be like, that was a funny thing. He wouldn't like, he wouldn't read into it very much.
The amount of like chaos that it takes for me to move,
for it to be a starter for you,
is really impressive, to like an alarming degree to where like I'm probably not someone you want around in an emergency.
No, David. Honestly, David, it's like a witch's house in here, David.
Like a witch's house in here. Okay, so thank you, Jason. Here's our next caller.
Hey, this is Brendan from Las Vegas, Nevada.
How you doing, Brendan? Thanks for Brendan from Las Vegas. Thanks for calling in. We appreciate you, buddy.
In City, baby. I was just calling because I was listening to the Spiral episode, and first of all, what a fucking sack of shit that movie was. But I also heard you guys talking about Invincible, and Bryce, you got the wrong idea. It's nothing like any of the other TV shows. You should definitely give it a try. Fuck you guys. Have a good day.
Fuck you guys. Have a good day.
It's nothing like the other shows that have the superheroes that turn out nefarious, portrayed in a real life scenario. Nothing at all. Okay, I'll give it a shot.
You've just it's like Sauron's eye. It usually just passes over you, Brendan from Las Vegas, but now Bryce has been set upon you, and God help you. God help you, because this man will nitpick you into oblivion.
There's no overlap. There's no overlap between Invincible and The Boys at all. None whatsoever. Okay, I'll give it a
David.
shot.
Ouch, David. Oh, yay, David. Yay.
Okay, next caller. Let's see who we got.
Hey, this is Ben from Texas.
Hey, Ben from Texas.
Just wanted to let you guys know that I saw Spiral this last weekend, and there were about probably 6 other people in the theater with me. I was wondering why, and then I watched the movie. My favorite part was probably the credits, which, by the way, you guys see the after credits of Invincible? Holy shit. Yeah, by the way, I'm friends of Glenn and Kevin. Thanks.
Oh, dear. Glenn. There's an army of people who want us to watch Invincible on Amazon.
The after credits of Invincible.
Apparently. Yeah, this is Invincible. There's an army of people who've been calling in about Invincible, and they don't sound the same. Well, the first time they sounded very similar, and we're from the same number. These two numbers are different. There's something happening. There's some sort of crime being committed against us about Invincible.
Yeah.
This is a cartoon. This is an adult cartoon on Amazon Prime.
There's some shows that I feel are better watched in clips on YouTube. Even good shows, like even fantastic shows, I find some of them are more enjoyable in like compilations on YouTube. The best example of that, Silicon Valley. Ooh. If you find clips on YouTube of each of the characters, that is an enjoyable time just watching compilations of Gavin Belson.
It does help to have the context. Gavin Belson clips, you don't really need the context.
Or Russ Hanneman.
Russ Hanneman. He's wonderful. Again, yeah, no, you've chosen the two characters in that show that need no context.
Right.
Yeah, good. Wow. Yeah, well done, Bryce. That's
cars with doors that go like this, not like this, not like this, like this. These are not the doors of a billionaire.
Gullwing doors is what he's referring to. What a wonderful show that is.
Yeah.
Okay, final call. Here we go.
Hey guys, it's Elizabeth. So I had just another piece of trivia for you guys. I was recently watching The Haunting of Hill House with my boyfriend, and I cannot take credit for this Easter.
Elizabeth, longtime listener, longtime caller, has been watching Haunting of Hill House with her boyfriend.
He actually was the one that pointed it out to me. But I want you to think all the way back to the season finale of Haunting of Hill House, the last episode, when they're all in the red room. Olivia, the mom, is in the red room. She's actually wearing a red robe. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. Why is she wearing a red robe? Because she's in the red room. And actually, in Nell's speech, she talks about being the house being almost like a body, and the red room is the heart. And my boyfriend pointed out that Olivia wearing the red robe, symbolizing the red room, she is now the heart of the house. So previously, Poppy was the one that was controlling everything, and that's why Olivia ended up killing herself, was because Poppy basically made her do it. But, you know, after she died, she became the heart of the house, and that's why she was wearing the red robe. And I just thought that was really cool. I mean, Mike Flanagan is fantastic at making all kinds of little Easter eggs like that and making all these kinds of connections that every time you watch it, you really start to see some of them. And we're rewatching Bly Manor, and I've already seen stuff that I missed the first time around, just like that. So definitely, everybody out there, give both of those a rewatch, you know, after you've seen it, because you'll really start to look at stuff like that. So anyway, have a great day. It's starting to get 100 degrees out here. I don't know what it's like over there, but I'm dying. So good day. Bye.
Thanks, Elizabeth. And if you don't know, we do have after shows for each episode of those shows.
Yeah.
So for Haunting of Bly Manor and Haunting of Hill House, we have a whole series of podcast episodes that are after shows for each episode.
She's saying the mom is the heart.
So now I'm confused because
or the blood of the house, just like
Jesus is the bread.
Just like Jesus is the bread.
So now I'm confused because Olivia was the first one to die in the house. So that means that the mother is the heart of the house and driving each of her children insane and to death.
Whoa.
Which feels a little weird to me.
That the house took
makes
her
more
over.
sense when, like, Poppy, who is insane, is driving people to insanity and to death, than Olivia, who ostensibly loves her children, would want them all to die.
Yeah, Elizabeth, what do you think about that? That's a good point, though.
It's my role is to pick apart everything now.
Jesus is the bread.
I won't sleep until this is CinemaSins.
Jesus is the bread.
Jesus is the bread.
I love that.
Oh, you done it now, Jordy Verrill.
You monkhead.
That was Stephen King talking to you from beyond the grave. No, I'm just joking. Stephen King's still alive.
So that was the last voicemail?
That was all we got.
All right. Thank you for calling.
Thank you for calling us at 682-253-4468. I hope you guys have a great week. Thanks for supporting us. Head on over. Use code HMT at Shudder.com, Manscaped.com, Nightchannels.com. Get varying percentages off and free trials of stuff. Consider becoming a Patreon member. We are a free show. We do give you free content every week of the year, and it wears on us. It really, really does. We have big problems in our lives.
You are our burden
that can only be solved with money, and we're tired.
We're begging you.
So consider supporting us at patreon.com, and not for nothing either. We got lots of good content over there, and we'll suck your goddamn dick.
I will suck your dick. I will suck your fucking dick. I will do it. Just join my team. I'll suck your dick. You can fuck me or get fucked by me. You can watch me fuck something. Just put it something in the room and I'll fuck it for you. Come on, just tell me what you want me to fuck.
Jesus Christ, MacGruber.
Just tell me what you want me to fuck.
And with that, you guys have a good week. We love you. Bye.
Bye.
Looking for a podcast full of burps and gas, perverted cast, skinny and fat? Look no further. Horror Movie Talk is accidentally funny, begs to donate money, fake sponsors for dummies, and so much more. New episodes every hump day. They'll pickle your dickle for foreplay. Patreon members have it your way. Vote for a movie every month for the review. Chompa chompa, don't just stare at it, eat it like a taco. Put your tongue through the phone, hoodie, Picasso. Look at them hot kids, swear not a pedo. Got me too'd with Cosby eating jello. Pudding Pops done gave Bryce flatulence. Train addict Dave doesn't give a shit. 1 through 10, is it horrible or excellent? Oil me up, daddy, is dinner rumps. Kiss Bryce Hansen. Look at them hot kids, Chris Henson. Masturbate with a crucifix, exorcist. Face huggers, chest bursters, alien. Linda Blair peed on Sigourney Weaver. I know it's true cause it came from social media. Patrick Bateman can't understand you. Stab you to death for rotten apple reviews. Opinionated podcaster with a doctorate. Spookology, doctor of philosophy. Bad gastritis, need colostomy. Turn Patreons into human centipedes. David Doobie Day, scare him, no expert. And global fucks hard, professional sexpert. Afterpods, taglines, and porno flicks. American Psycho, them guys pretty sick. Chompa chompa, don't just stare at it, eat it like a taco. Put your tongue through the phone, hoodie, Picasso. Look at them hot kids, swear not a pedo. Got me too'd with Cosby eating jello. Pudding Pops done gave Bryce flatulence. Train addict Dave doesn't give a shit. 1 through 10, is it horrible or excellent? Oil me up, daddy, is dinner rumps. Nothing good happens in the woods. Always get more than you bargained for. Got a pickle to dickle, machines tickle bitties. Killer on the phone, ain't no Sharon Stone. Vancouver, Portland, Oregon, and organs. Corona, COVID, curse, Lorona. Green River Killer, because reasons. Hallway of poop monster kids screaming. Ain't your ordinary dingleberry itinerary. 30 days shutter and jump scares, they fucking scary. Time for the spoilers with jokes and tropes. Use their white socks to catch their loads. Just show them one titty, pretty. Paganism you should worship, they Teflon dicks. Pacific Northwest, let them see one breast. Shifty ass, stay spooky, poor man's digress. Bugsy, HMT, horror movie talk. Hold on, they don't like Halloween. Fuck them.
I'm gonna poop my pants.
Oh, Jesus.
I can't poop in this room anymore.
you see what I deal with? I deal with pooping. We should have like a tally on every episode of how many poops and pees David does throughout the recording sessions. We can just add it to the episode post. I mean, personally, I take care of business first thing in the morning. Like, if there could have been a toilet right on the side of my bed that I could roll into and just rocket a shit out, well, let's be honest, it's not going to rocket out. I take my time. I'm a middle-aged man. I appreciate my solitude when I'm on the toilet. But regardless, I do that shit first thing. No cap, as the kids would say. It's the most important 40 minutes of my day. In contrast, David can shoot out a shit in like 5 seconds flat. He's back so quickly that it's suspect how well he wipes. I'm just going to say it. The amount of time it takes for him to shit and come back into the room, like, is probably about the same amount of time I take just to wipe. Hi.
I heard you talking.
That's all staying in.
I heard you talking in here.